Let's take a look at how to get started in Krita. When you open Krita, you will see a gray screen that looks like this. You want to open a new file. And so go ahead and click on New File. And you're going to get this screen that has all kinds of choices. Don't worry about that right now. Go ahead and click Create. Then you're given this white canvas to work on. For the projects that we're creating, you're going to need a vector layer. Krita defaults to a bitmap or a raster layer. The Layers panel is located here on the right-hand side. It says Layers. Now what you need to do is go down to this plus sign, and there's a little arrow next to it. If you just hit plus, it's going to give you another bitmap layer. We want a vector layer. Click the arrow, select vector layer, and you'll notice that the icon has changed next to this layer. Your first project requires you to make a cartoon character of a triangle guy or something that uses a bunch of shapes. I want you to have an opportunity to play with some of the tools. So let me kind of show you around the tools in Krita. To create a triangle in Krita, you're going to use the polygon tool, and you're going to go ahead and click on that polygon tool and take your mouse and click and let up. Move to your next corner, click and let up, click and let up, and then click, and when you come to the same spot, you're going to click again, and it's going to give you your shape. Yours may default to something different. It might be a different color. If you do this and you do not see a shape, chances are everything is set to white. And so it's there, you just can't see it. So what we're going to do now is look at how to change the color. So we can do anything we want to our shape by using this selection arrow. So select Shapes tool. It's the first tool on your toolbar on the left. Click that, and you'll notice that there will be a dotted line box with these squares around your shape. Look to your right, and you will see a tab that says Tool Options, and you'll have a paint bucket, a line, and a dotted line. To change the fill of your shape, you're going to go to the paint bucket, click, and this shows the fill color. If I click this red X, it removes the fill. If I click this gray box, it's a solid fill. The next one is a gradient fill, and the last one is a pattern fill. Underneath is a bar that says color. If you do not see this and your screen is smaller, you may have a scroll bar on the side to scroll down and see the tools. Click on the color bar, and you will see a color palette and a wheel that you can use to select the color that you want. So let's just make our guy orange. If I want to change the line around the shape, I can click on this line tool here, and then I can click that color bar, and I can click the color that I want, a nice iUniversity purple, and this allows me to change the color of my line. Down below the color, again, you may have to scroll down, you'll see thickness. You can make your line thicker and thinner by using this tool here. You can use arrows to go up and down, or you can just type the number in. You'll only see this toolbox if you have it selected with the selection arrow. I'm going to get rid of my line for now. The next thing I want to do to make my character is I want to add some eyes. So I'm going to click on the circle here for eyes. Now notice that it looks like I didn't get a whole circle, but that's because what I have here is no fill and an orange line. So it's still there. I'm going to select that, and you can see that it selected the whole thing. You can see that my line is orange, My fill is not there. There's no color bar because I have no fill. I have to click this gray box here to get the fill. Now it filled it with orange. I'm going to fill it with white for the eye. Now you can see the white with the orange line around it. I think I want my line to be black, so I'm just going to click on that and change it to black. I want my eyes to be the same size. So I'm going to resize this a little bit big, and so I can just use these boxes to resize. And now I can do on a Mac Command C, Command V, copy paste, and now I've got two eyes that are identical. Now I want to make the pupils of the eye, so I'm going to again click on my ellipse tool or circle tool, pull out a circle. Notice that I don't see anything. That's because it's white and I don't have any line around it. But if I click this selection arrow, now you can see that it's made a box around that, and there's my line color is white and I have no fill. So let's go to fill, and I'm going to click this and this, and then I will fill it with that. I don't want a line, so I can get rid of that. Command C, Command V for copy and paste. And then I can move this. Now it's really small, so it's wanting to resize it. I have to have a four-way arrow in order to move it. To make the mouth, let's explore the Bezier curve tool. The Bezier curve tool is over here. It looks like a horseshoe with kind of a line across it. It allows us to draw with nodes, kind of like the polygon tool did, only I can make curves if I use the mouse in a different way. So just like the polygon tool, I'm going to take my mouse and hover and click, and it brings like a string down here. I'm going to click again. Let's make a smiley curve. But now when I come down, I'm going to click and hold down my mouse button and drag to form a handle. Then I'm going to return to my starting point and click. It automatically filled in the mouth. I can make any shape with this curve tool. So let's make a leg for our guy using that same tool. I'm going to click and click and click, click. Now if I want a rounded foot, I'm going to click and drag, and I want to drag it right at the curve. Click, click and drag, click, click. Don't get frustrated at yourself if you can't do this right away, because this is kind of a difficult tool to learn to use, but it's very useful, and so stick with it. You'll get there. It just takes practice. Again, I don't have to redraw that leg again. I can use the selection tool. It selects it. If I copy and paste and then do this, I can create two of them without having to redraw it. They will be identical. So let me go ahead and Command C, Command V. Now I have two. Right click, transform, and mirror horizontally. And here's a leg I can drag over here. I can resize those legs as I want. I can also move them to the back. I don't want them sticking out in front of my triangle. So I can select both of them by holding down the Shift key and selecting the other one. Notice that now I've got a box around both. I want to move them behind the other triangle, the orange triangle. So again, I'm going to use my right click button, and I have the choice to send to back. So I can arrange my objects by right clicking, send to back, and now you can see that it's behind my orange triangle. You can use this method of selecting multiple objects by holding down the Shift key to treat them all the same. So if I wanted to change the color of these from black to orange, I could do that. I could click on my orange. Ooh, that's a different color orange, isn't it? Go back to my other orange. Okay. I can do the same thing for some arms. So let's go ahead and use the Bezier curve tool for some arms. And right? Now, what if I wanted to zoom in and maybe smooth these fingers or change some of this a little bit? I can do that by using the plus and equal key on your keyboard. If you just hit that key, it will zoom in, and I can also, there's my pan, I knew it was somewhere there. Okay, so you can use this pan key to move around. All right, so now I want to round those off. If you want to make any changes to any of these places where you've clicked, you can use the Edit Paths by Nodes key or Edit Shapes tool and just click on your object. And now you can see there's a diamond shape everywhere I clicked. I can round any one of those nodes. I can go from pointy to round by right-clicking on it, and I can smooth that point. And it's giving me something called handles that I can actually make bigger. So we click, right-click, smooth point. Right-click, smooth point. These are handles. If you move them back and forth, they change the curve. You can bring a handle in for less curve or out for more. If when you're in this particular tool of editing shapes, you can also double click on the line and create a new point. And let's do this. We'll give him some muscles. Notice I only have one handle. I want that to have two. Just right click, smooth point, and I can have. I think I might take and rotate this arm. So I right click, transform, and let's rotate that vertically and see what we get there. Now he looks like he's waving high. I can copy and paste another one, Command C, Command V, and I don't have to keep it exactly the same. I do need to rotate it horizontally. I can do it this way. I can make it a little smaller. I can also zoom in. You can use your pan to move. I can also zoom in and change these nodes by using the Edit Shapes tool. And so I can move my fingers. Oops, I don't want to do it that way. I want to grab the square, not the handle. So I can move these over. Try experimenting with the tools and adding your own unique touch to your triangle guide. Practice changing colors, and maybe you'll find a tool that I didn't show you that you can show us in class. Have fun creating your character.